Hi friends, good evening everyone. Welcome to day 2 of the Enlightenment on No Death sessions. Friends, meditation has transformed many across the world. It has brought a massive shift in many of the masters across the world. And we have one such master. She had an amazing transformation. She had a challenging chapter of life. She faced constant struggles that made each day feel like a journey of hardship. These hardships made her feel like she's lost, she's empty, there is no meaning and purpose to her life. Despite having enduring severe physical and mental pain and this emotional roller coaster ride, she came to realize through meditation and other alternative healing modalities that her suffering stemmed from within. Reflecting back, she sees all these, challenges, trials as an opportunities for profound growth, leading her to shed all the old beliefs and embrace a new perspective filled with hope. After learning and experimenting with so many alternate healing modalities, you name it, she has done so many. Reiki, angel healing, past life regression, Akashic records, numerology, astrology. Oh my God, so many, the list goes on. And finally, she became a yoga practitioner. Okay. And after that, in the year 2020, something magical happened. Guess what? She got connected to our Grandmaster Patriji. She got connected to Anapanasati, and she felt that her journey is complete now. And finally, she found, uh, our PSSM. And with Anapanasati, she found inner peace and the purpose. And since last maybe 8-9 years, since 2015, she is living in the Germany. And yeah, thank you, Ruchiji. Thank you for coming onto this platform. And it's so grateful to have you here on this platform. I'm going to be hearing to you for the first time, and I'm so excited and very delightful to have you here. Thank you. Thank you. Stage is all yours.
Thank you so much, Raviji, for such a beautiful introduction. Thank you, Shardaji, and to all the enlightened masters that are present here on this Revit platform of PMC UK. And my heartfelt gratitude to Shardaji, who so lovingly invited me to this platform and be a part of these enlightening sessions. And I'm ever indebted to Patriji and to all the enlightened masters, saints, sages, gurus of all religions who made it their life mission that the real knowledge should be reached to one and all. For it is only the real knowledge that can banish the darkness of ignorance, can banish the darkness that is present within us. And believing death to be an end to all is the biggest of all delusions, and this delusion can only be banished with the light of knowledge. So just like we are in a dark room, and in that dark room, we mistakenly assume a rope to be a snake. But just when the light shines forth upon that room, and we realize that it is just a rope and there is nothing to fear about it, in the similar manner, only knowledge has this power to take away all the ignorance, to take away all the fear that we live our life with. And yes, we all have fear of death. And with that, Masters, I must acknowledge that, like each one of you present here, I'm also a traveler on this path. And it gives me immense joy, nonetheless, to share the little knowledge that I have gained so far in this beautiful journey of self exploration. So, thank you so much, Masters. So, would you like me to start right away with the session, or how is it?
Yeah, I mean, whatever the way you want. Maybe we can do meditation for some time if you like to have the meditation first and then do the session. So whatever you feel like. So let's go with your.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
I mean,
let's start with the session first then. Yes,
session.
please go ahead, Raviji. Yes, you were saying something.
Yeah, I mean, do you want to guide the meditation or do you want us to guide? I can play the music. So how do you want to do it? It's completely up to you.
Okay, so meditation session, I think you do it best.
Okay, sure.
Sorry.
Okay. Let me share the music. Okay, friends, let us get into meditation. Those who are wearing the spectacles, please remove your spectacles. Completely relaxed from top of the head till tip of the toe. There's no discomfort whatsoever anywhere in the body. Sit in a comfortable posture. Do not trouble your body. The posture is very, very important. The posture you are comfortable with is the right posture. Cross your legs. Clasp your fingers into fingers. Eyes must be closed, my dear friends. Relax entire body. Sometimes unconsciously we tighten the facial muscles, the forehead, the space between the eyebrows, eyes. Make sure all the facial muscles are relaxed. Maybe you can have a gentle smile on your face. That can relax all your facial muscles. Whenever you are ready, shift the focus of your attention to your breathing. The breath that is happening on its own without any effort. The effortless breathing. Let the breath be natural normal as it is. Do not hold the breath. Do not take long breaths. Let it be natural, relaxed, and there should not be any discomfort in the way you are breathing. If it is shallow, let it be shallow. If it is deep, let it be deep. Be with your normal, natural, relaxed breath. Continue to be with your breath. Be with your incoming breath and be with your outgoing breath. From time to time, you may notice thoughts. It is very natural for the beginners. The moment you are aware of the thoughts, cut them straight away, but in a soft and gentle manner, not forcefully. Cut them straight away, softly, gently, and bring your attention back to the breath. Let us follow this process for next few minutes. Relaxed body, relaxed breath. And entire attention on your breath. If you are seeing any discomfort, too many thoughts, maybe a gentle smile on your face will lighten the frequency of the thoughts. Be with your breath. Be with your breath. Relaxed body, relaxed breath, and complete attention on your breath. Last 2 minutes. Even few moments of awareness on your breath can make a huge impact. Every breath counts. Every breath is important. Now, gently, slowly bring your awareness back to the body consciousness. Slowly, gently feel the surroundings. Whenever you are ready, gently release your hands. Place them on your eyes for a few seconds. With a sense of gratitude to the meditation. With a beautiful smile on your face. Slowly open your eyes. Thank you. Hope it was a nice meditation. Thank you. Yes, Ruchi ji.
Thank you, Raviji. That was indeed a beautiful meditation. And with this meditation, it has opened the doorways within us to receive the knowledge and the wisdom for today's session. So, Masters, welcome back to the session for today. And my talk for today will be revolving around understanding what death is, understanding that this life that we are living is a preparation for that moment of death when we leave our physical bodies. And it all depends upon how we live our life. That will determine how we leave this physical body. That are we living this life with awareness? Are we living this life consciously? And if we are doing that, then in the similar manner, we will also be able to leave our physical bodies consciously and with awareness. And yes, last but not the least, I would also be talking about where we go after we leave our physical body. That is the life in the astral plane and the life in the causal plane. So, Masters, to start with, there's a beautiful quote and a saying which says that don't depend upon death to liberate you from your imperfections. You're exactly the same after death as you are before. Nothing changes. Just leave your physical body, and whatever you have made of yourself thus far shall remain with you hereafter. And when you reincarnate, then you bring with you the same nature with you, And if you have to change, then it requires self-effort, and this world is the place to do so. So, Masters, these beautiful lines, they showcase that death is just another moment in our soul's journey. That if we are facing in our lives from some problems, from some challenges, if we have some lower emotions that bind us, it may be fear, guilt, shame, anger, greed, whatever that is draining our energy, then it all shows that when we die, then all those emotions, all those feelings, all those problems, all those challenges will go along with us. Why? Because we did not make any effort to get past those challenges. We did not make any effort to get rid of the emotions that are draining our energy. Just imagine if death could have been a solution and could have been an end to all our problems, then, we could have simply all just drowned into the sea and we could have been free from all the challenges, problems, and the emotions that are bothering us. But unfortunately, it doesn't happen because when we leave, we just leave this outer garb. But the mental body that we have and all the other bodies where our emotions are stored, where our feelings are stored, we just are as it is, and we have to make that effort to change ourselves. And having said that, making that effort, it requires will. It requires a lot of energy to bring that change within us. That is why, whenever we are faced with a problem or something that is bogging us down, we don't hesitate in pointing a finger towards the other people or towards situation or circumstances and so easily say that yes, it is because of the circumstances, it is because of a person that I am having such problems in life, that I am facing such difficult situation in life. But we forget that when we point one finger towards anything external, the rest of the four fingers are pointing towards us, which clearly indicate that it all starts from us and it all ends from us. And we have to make an effort. And when we know that we are endowed with such powerful tools of meditation, like reading spiritual books, like Sajjan Sangatya, just like we are doing now, then the process of changing ourselves, it becomes easy because we know that we are not alone in this journey, because we know that we have the powerful tool of meditation where we get to connect with our higher selves, which is guiding us every moment of our lives. So, friends, we know that we fear death. Even if externally we say that we know that death is just another moment, but there is some fear associated with death. If not in a conscious state, then of course in our subconscious mind, we all fear death. And we know that death is the most natural thing to happen. We fear death because we do not understand the meaning of life, the life that is given to us to know God, to find God. And once we start living from this reality, then all the fear that is associated with death will just vanish. And I'm sure you all must be aware of the life of Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs' last words were, "Oh wow, oh wow, oh wow." As if he had witnessed the eternal beauty of the soul and he realized this truth. He died a billionaire, and during his last days, he penned a very profound and a very thought-provoking post. So, in that post, he wrote that in others' eyes, my life is an essence of success. But apart from work, I find I have little joy. And in the end, wealth is just a fact of life to which I am accustomed to. And at this moment, lying on the bed, sick, remembering all my life, I realize that all the wealth, all the recognition that I took so much pride in, it has failed and it has become meaningless in the face of death. Your true inner happiness, it does not come from anything material, from anything external to you. So we know that Steve Jobs has been such an inspirational person. He has been a person of grit and determination. He failed in his life so many times, but every time he failed, he rose up with renewed determination, with renewed positivity. And these words of Steve Jobs, they inspire us to reflect and to introspect and to ask this question that what are we chasing in our lives? What are those things that we are going behind? Is it really worthwhile? And on these similar lines, Masters, there's a very beautiful couplet by Sant Kabir, which I'm sure you all must have heard of. And this couplet by Sant Kabir, it says that don't be deluded by Maya, don't be deluded by illusion, and don't take pride in your physical body. For this body is weaker than mud. Just a blow of gust, and this body will turn into dust. Then what are you proud of? So, Masters, I am telling you all about these things so that we know and we understand how to live life, because if we live our life consciously and with awareness, then that moment of death will be so beautiful for us, will be so effortless for us, and that moment of death will then determine how our next coming lives will be. So, Masters, as it is said, that music is a language that transcends all boundaries, and music is a language that pierces direct into your soul. So, let me sing a few lines of that beautiful couplet by Sant Kabir. मत कर माया को अहंकार मत कर छाया को अभिमान खाया द्वार से काछे मत कर माया को अहंकार मत कर छाया को अभिमान खाया द्वार से काछे हो खाया से जैसे मोती झोंका पवन का लग जाए झपका पवन का लग जाए काया धूल हो जासी काया तेरी धूल हो जासी ऐसा सत्य था महाराज जिनका मुझे तो मेराज जिन घर झूलता हाथी जिन घर झूलता हाथी घर सियाना बाती झोंका पवन का लग जाए झपका पवन का लग जाए खाया धूल हो जासी काया तेरी धूल हो जासी काया तेरी धूल हो जासी. So, Masters, this beautiful couplet by Sant Kabir, it so beautifully, it showcases that the material wealth is transient, that the physical body's beauty is transient. So why live in pride? Why live in vanity? And it's best to live with humility and to be grateful for life's blessings. And now, Masters, let us understand that why so much fear is associated with death. So there are many reasons why we fear death. We fear death because we think that at the time when we leave our physical bodies, then we might have to endure excruciating pain. And we don't want to endure that pain. Nobody wants to endure pain. And that is why we fear death. We fear death because we think that death will separate us from our loved ones, from our dear ones whom we hold so dear to us. We don't want to be separated with our loved ones. And that is why we fear death. We fear death because we think that death will bring an end to our identity, that our existence will come to an end with death. And this means that all the name, all the fame that we have acquired, all the power that we have acquired, if we have acquired a good position in an organization, if we have acquired status in the society, it will just be gone like that with death. And that is why we fear death. We don't want all that we have so much pride in just to go away like that. Just if a person who's been born poor and he toils hard his entire life to have a comfortable life, he knows that with death, all the comfort that he has become so used to, that he worked so hard for, it will just be gone. That is why we fear death. But when we know that the pain that we are fearing, when we know that this pain is of the body and we are not this body, just like Ramana Maharishi during his last days when he was suffering from cancer, and his disciples, they used to cry seeing Ramana Maharishi's condition. And when they used to ask Ramana Maharishi, then Ramana Maharishi, he lovingly just used to tell his disciples that, why are you crying? What have you learned so far? Don't you know that the body is suffering, that the body is in pain? And I am not this body. So I am not in pain. I am not suffering. So when we understand this, then the pain that is associated with death, that will go away. And then we fear losing our loved ones when we understand that the bond of love, it transcends lifetimes, that the bond of love, it transcends death, that this bond of love is eternal, it is immortal, and we never get separated from our loved ones. That the connection of love will always bind us together, and this fear will also go away. That it is the attachment to our loved ones that causes pain, that causes suffering. So whether it is attachment to our loved ones, to the name, fame, power, wealth, possessions, that this attachment, it is the reason for our misery, for our suffering. So, this, it all tells that if we are holding anything too tightly within us, then that only thing will become a cause of pain and suffering at that moment of death, because we would want to hold on to that thing and we would not want to let go of that thing. But if we start living from this truth that we belong to no one and no one belongs to us, that one day suddenly we will have to leave this physical plane and go into the astral realm. So if we start living from this reality, then we will be free from inside. And when we are free from inside, then we fear nothing. Then as effortlessly we lead our lives, as effortlessly we will be able to leave our bodies as well. So, just like we have 2 days, and in between those 2 days, we have a night. And in that night, we sleep. And we have a blissful sleep. And in that sleep, we forget what our name is, what problems we might be having in our lives, what our role in society is, how much money we have in our bank accounts. We have completely no knowledge about anything. We just enjoy the blissful sleep. So in a similar manner, death is also like a deep sleep where we let go of our physical bodies and we go to the astral realms. And when the time is right, we come again to the physical body and get back to our work on this earthly plane, to have varied experiences, to have the lessons which our soul is supposed to learn, and to balance our karmic account. So this shows that death is just another moment in our soul's journey. And as Ananda Mahima, she has beautifully put that death is nothing. Death is just exiting the room of the physical world and entering the room of the astral plane. And when the time comes, then exiting the room of the astral plane and once again entering the room of the physical plane. So, this shows that we have shed our physical bodies 100 times before. And we would be shedding our physical body so many times more. So, what is there to fear of? This is a very natural process which will happen if we accept it or not. But if we don't accept it, if we don't understand the truth, then we will suffer. So, it is best to let that knowledge be the guiding light and we end our suffering and our misery. And then, masters, we think that the earthly plane where we are living, that is a real home. But our real home is not this physical plane, for we have spent so much more time in the astral realms. And this astral realm is so beautiful, it is so divine. It is just that the Creator has made our memory in such a way that when we reincarnate and come to the physical world, then our memory is veiled and we have no memory of what beautiful time we had spent in the astral plane. Because had we had even a little bit of idea of our time in the astral plane, then we would ourselves would not want to live in the physical plane and we would just simply want to go and leave the physical plane as soon as possible. So that beautiful and that blissful astral world is. So that also shows that the knowledge about where we go after we leave our physical bodies, the knowledge of the astral plane, the knowledge of the causal plane, it becomes so much important for us to know. So, masters, the knowledge that I would be sharing about life after death is from this profound book, Autobiography of a Yogi by Master Paramhansa Yogananda. And this book needs no introduction, even after eight decades of since it has been written. It is still the most revered, most sought after, and the most inspirational book of all times for all spiritual seekers. And this book very beautifully explains where we go when we leave our physical body. So just to give you a brief background before I explain that, masters, that Paramhansa Yogananda ji's guru was Swami Sri Yukteswar ji. And when Swami Sri Yukteswar ji, he left his physical body, then Paramhansa Yogananda, he felt devastated. He was overwhelmed with grief and sorrow because the Guru with whom he had spent such a long time, the Guru from whom he had learned everything, that Guru was no more. And so obviously Yogananda ji, he was very much filled with sorrow. And one day, Yogananda ji, while he was meditating, then he was roused by a tremendous amount of light. And when he opened his eyes, he could not believe what he saw. it was the flesh and blood form of his Guru, his beloved Guru, Swami Sri Yukteswarji. And it was the first time in his life that Yogananda ji, he did not kneel at the feet of his Guru, but rather he tightly embraced his Guru, but he still could not believe that it is the same Guru whom he had buried just a few days back. And Swami Sri Yukteswarji explained Yogananda that he created an entirely new body from the cosmic atoms. So in truth, he came to life, or he resurrected himself, not on earth, but on the astral plane. That is, although he left his physical body, but he still existed exactly in the same form on the astral plane. So this again so beautifully shows us that we continue to exist after we leave our physical body. So masters, I will open my slides for you. Yes, so you're able to see my screen, masters? Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So masters, on the screen you see Paramhansa Yogananda ji with his Guru Swami Sri Yukteswarji. And then Swami Sri Yukteswarji, he explained that our soul is successively encased in three bodies. In the causal body, which is also the seed body or the spiritual body, where all the karmas are stored, where all the past life experiences are stored. And then our soul is also encased in the astral body, which is the seat of man's mental and emotional nature. And then, of course, our soul is also in the physical body. So it means that when we give up our physical body, then our soul still remains encased in the astral and the causal body. So, masters, now let's have a little bit idea on how life in the astral plane is. So, masters, now just before I start explaining this, I would like to tell you that when we leave our physical body, then we go to the astral plane. But when we go to the astral plane, we go there only as visitors. Why? Because when the time comes, we again reincarnate and come back to the physical world. Just like, we are living, for example, if we are living in India, and from India we come to Germany, then we all come there to Germany as visitors. And then we go back to our own country of India. But the people of Germany who are living there, who are the citizens, they are the permanent resident of that country. So it means that when we leave our physical body, we go to the astral plane as visitors. But the permanent residents of the astral plane are only those beings who are liberated from the cycle of birth and death, who do not have any earthly karma left. Only those beings, they are the permanent beings of the astral plane. So now, masters, let's see how life in the astral plane is. So now, what is this astral universe made of? So the astral universe is made of the subtle vibrations of light and color, which is 100 times larger than the earthly cosmos. So, everything in the astral universe is so orderly, it is so divine, and it is not so that all the beings in the astral plane will live together as we do here in the earthly plane. No, depending upon their vibratory frequency, depending upon their karmic account, they are put into different planes. And that is how the harmony, that is how the peace is maintained in the astral world. So you're having an idea that in earth we have to juggle with people whom we might not have any resonance with, whom we might not think that there is even the slightest match of frequency, who have very different mindsets, who might be into the material world completely. We have to juggle with all kinds of people on this earthly plane. But when we go to the astral plane, life becomes so much easier, because then we live only with those beings whom we have resonance with. And then how do the astral beings operate? Now, the astral beings operate through the power of their will. That is, if they want to manifest anything, be it children, be it food, drinks, flowers, just about anything, you name it, just with the sheer willpower, they just put out that energy and that thing is instantly materialized right in front of them, although it is in the astral form. And then what is the anatomy of the astral beings? So while we know that we have a physical body, we have all the organs, and the astral beings, they have an astral brain, they have an astral heart, and this astral heart, it draws light, it draws energy from the astral brain, and it supplies this light and energy to the energy centers, to all the nerve cells of an astral being. And while we living in this physical plane, we heavily rely on our five senses to hear, to see, to touch, to perceive, to taste. But the astral beings, they use the faculty of intuition to hear, see. So, with their eyes, they can taste, they can touch. With their ears, they can use, they can do everything, because it's basically they are using the faculty of intuition to use their sense perceptions. And while we know that the average lifespan of a physical being is 70 to 80 years, so the lifespan of an astral being is 500 to 1000 years. It is that very long. And now a very interesting question it comes is that when we leave our physical body and we go to the astral plane, then we meet there our friends, our loved ones, not only from this lifetime, but from all the lifetimes. Then the question comes that how do we identify all of them from all our lifetimes? So the answer is that the astral beings, they do this through the faculty of intuition. And now a tricky question comes that if an astral being, he meets the spouse from this lifetime, and he also meets a spouse from different lifetimes, now whom to love more, spouse from this lifetime or spouse from all the other lifetimes? Well, that's a tricky one, but not for an astral being, because an astral being, he learns to give divine and equal love to one and all. And while we know that death of a physical being is marked by the absence of breath, that is, when we are not breathing, then that indicates that we have left a physical body. So the astral being, he dies when he leaves his life trance. So the life trance are very subtle and they're very finer form of prana shakti, you can say, that sustains the life of an astral being. And when those life trance leave the astral being, then it indicates death. So masters, I'm sure with this you have a little idea on how life in the astral world is. And now let us understand a little bit about causal plane. So now when an astral being has worked all his astral karmas, he has worked all his astral desires. Then the soul that was encased in the astral and the causal body, now the astral body goes away, and now the soul is only encased in the causal plane. So, this causal plane is very much closer to the infinite, it is very much closer to the divine. And in the causal world, the whole universe exists in ideas, it exists in thought forms. Just to give you an idea, that if I tell you that you please close your eyes and you please imagine a white light in front of you or a golden light in front of you, then that white light or that golden light will be in your thought form. It is not in reality that you have a golden or a white light, it is just in the thought form. So, in the similar manner, the beings in the causal world, they operate through ideas, they operate through thought forms only, and they exist in the thought forms. They do not have a body because they exist in the thought forms, so they don't need a body. We need a body. Why do we need a body? We need a body because we have a desire to satisfy our sensory pleasures. And our sensory pleasures can only be satisfied when we have a body. But when we have transcended the physical plane, when we have transcended the astral plane, then we are free of desires. And when we are free of desires, then we also know from inside that we don't need a body. And that is how the causal beings, they operate. And just like the astral beings, the causal beings as well, they live for thousands of years. And yes, both death and rebirth in the causal world is again in the thought form. Just like in the astral world, the astral beings, they used to leave their life trance, but in the causal world, everything happens only with the thought. And masters, now when the soul is out of the cocoon of the three bodies, that is when the soul has transcended the physical plane, gone to the astral plane, transcended the astral plane, gone to the causal plane, worked out the causal desires, worked out the causal karmas, then the soul is completely free. Just in the pure form as it was originally, and without any loss of individuality, then that soul, it becomes one with the infinite, it becomes one with God. That is, it becomes a free soul. And masters, this was a bit about life in the astral plane, about life in the causal plane. And I would end my talk for today with the words of Ram Dass. And I'm sure you must have known who Ram Dass is. So, I am very inspired from the journey of Ram Dass, whose original name was Richard Alpert, and he was a professor of psychology in the Harvard University. And in pursuit of truth, in pursuit of truth, he used to live in the United States. He traveled to so many countries, and he finally, when he reached to India, I'm sure you must have known, then he met Neem Karoli Baba, and that is how he, he knew that he has found what he was looking for. And yes, he wrote a number of books, and his life has been a journey of inspiration, and he has been an author to several spiritual books. And so Ram Dass has so beautifully quoted that the ego is frightened by death because ego is part of the incarnation and ends with it. That is why we learn to identify with our soul as the soul continues after death. For the soul, death is just another moment. So, Masters, these words of Ramdas, they so beautifully tell us that it is the I-ness, it is the ego that becomes frightened with death. Why? Because with death, that identity, ego will not have any identity of its own. That is why it fears death, because it would lose its identity. And that is why, through these sessions, through the knowledge, we learn that we have to identify with our soul, because soul is immortal, because the soul is eternal. And we realize then that death is just another moment in the soul's journey, that there is absolutely nothing to fear of death. That death is just another beautiful instrument given by the divine to let go of a physical body and to reincarnate with the new body, with renewed energy, and with renewed hope. So, Masters, I thank you all for listening to me with so much of love. And yes, the platform is all yours, Masters, now. Thank you.
Thank you, Ruchi. An amazing session. And you explained about the death, such a heavy subject, in a calming way. And your soothing voice made the wisdom to stick in our minds and subconscious mind. It was such a great session that you spoke about so many things about Steve Jobs, last words. It's eye-opening, and Kabir ki dohe, and so many things, and Yukteswar Giri Maharaj, the wisdom he gave to Paramahamsa Yogananda ji, discussing about different bodies, astral body, causal body. Amazing, amazing. Thank you so much. And thank you, Sharada Garu, also for, she received this message of having the enlightenment on no death sessions here. Intuitively she felt, and she intuitively felt that you should also come onto this platform. So everything, she's receiving the message from the astral world, from the Patriji. And thank you for this beautiful session. And Sharada Garu.
Yeah. Thank you, Ruchi. It's an amazing session, amazing. So how beautifully, explained step by step, and the death in the physical, astral, and the causal. And Patrisar always says death is a celebration. And in this session with your soothing song, it's really, we felt like it's a celebration day today. Thank you so much, Ruchi. Thank you so much for accepting and coming here. Thank you. It's so beautiful. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Shardaji. And thank you so much for having me here. It's like the energies that I'm feeling in this platform. I have no words to express that instantly I felt that connection.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
We too felt the same. Thank you, Ravi.
Yeah, thank you. GK sir? Thank you, Sharada Garu. GK sir, you want to talk? Sir.
Yeah, thank you very much, madam. Really wonderful information about different planes, like the ship enters into the moon. It has to cross so many, layers, and then finally it lands like a rover. So you explained it beautifully. And I would like to listen from you or from any of the participants here, any practical experiences related to the death, whatever the theory you have given. Of course, in so many ways we can explain the death, and a lot of information in the books where the masters has experienced it. Anyone in this platform, if they can share a little bit about their out of body experiences related to the theory you have given today, I'll be more happy. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, sir. Yes, so platform is open for other participants to share their experience, any near death, any astral travel experience, or the different bodies that explained. Um, yeah, please raise your hand so that I can unmute. I think, yeah, Monica ji, yeah, if you want to go for it. Yeah.
Hello, Masters. I have 3 time out of body experience. The first time is when I was 17 years old. For 25 minutes, I was out of breath. And the second time is recently after the COVID. I got Pfizer, a reaction from Pfizer, and I collapsed twice. And both of the time, I just I didn't remember anything. What happened to me? I was in washroom. My son, he saw me. I was collapsed on the floor toilet, and he said, "Mom, you were not responding." And I lost my memory that time. I didn't recognize my kids, and they were saying that I was talking in some other language. They won't understand what is going on. Then, and the second one is on the same day when I was in hospital. They are about to do my test. They did so many tests, and meanwhile, doctor said that he was standing next to me, talking to me, and he say, "Suddenly you collapsed." I collapsed 7:30 in the night, and I wake up next morning 2 a.m. And in between, I can see the people are around me. They are talking about something, but I was not feeling any pain or anything. But when I came back into my body, I have so many bruises because they did so many tests on me, and I was unable to walk because I have very too much swelling on my feet. And then the nurse said, "Thank God you came back." I said, "What happened to me?" She said, "You don't remember anything." I said, "I know a little bit, but after that, what happened? I have no idea." That was my experience 3 times with the death. And all the time, Divine sent me back. He said, "No, your contract is not finished. Go back and do your work now again."
You're on mute, Raviji.
I'm on mute. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Monica ji. Thank you for sharing your experience, all 3 different experiences. Thank you. Thank you so much. And somebody was asking the question, Ruchi ji, if you want to take that question. In our next births, do we, take the birth again as humans or any other creature? So, yeah, I would like you to take that question. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. So, what I have learned so far and what I have understood so far is that, there is a spiritual law, which is the law of constant progression, which states that when we reincarnate as a human being, then we don't go back to become a creature or to become an animal because we have already got past that stage. So we will reincarnate in a human form only. So it means that we're constantly progressing in each birth of ours. And the only exception to this is when we take our own lives. When we take our own lives, then we come back, then we take a step back in our soul's evolution. Otherwise, we're all progressing in our soul's journey. So we don't go back and become a creature. No.
Thank you. Thank you, Ruchi ji. Hope that was clear, Lakshmi ji. We can understand the concept about the death and how to accept it. However, how one can make peace with death and accept death practically.
See, as I already explained this in the session, that whether we accept death or not, death will still happen. And the more we resist, the more we push that away, push the truth away from us, then the more we are inviting suffering, the more we are inviting misery into our own lives. So, the answer to this is that knowledge, the more we read spiritual books, the more knowledge we have, the more meditation we do, then we will be more aligned with the truth that governs our life, and we will truly understand what this life is all about and how should we live this life consciously with awareness so that that moment of death also becomes another beautiful moment for us, and we go away accepting beautifully that this is just another moment in our soul's journey and nothing else. Why? Because if we die with attachment to our loved ones or to anything, and if we die with pain and misery, then in our next incarnation we'll again be born with the same nature of attachment, the same nature of misery and suffering with us. And in this way, we will be viciously stuck into the loop of suffering and misery till we accept it, till we let the knowledge be that guiding light to banish the darkness of ignorance within us.
Thank you. Thank you. I hope that was clear, Imaji. And there is one other question. After death, do we meet everyone in the astral plane, even if they have again reincarnated in the physical world?
Okay. So, the answer to this question, I would say, is that, when we reincarnate, then we don't reincarnate 100% on the physical plane. A part of us remains in the higher worlds, which is called as the higher self. So, when we go to the astral realms, if we are elevated soul, then we will meet the higher self of the soul that has already reincarnated into the physical world. You understanding? So yes, we do meet everyone in the astral plane, even if they have reincarnated. Because their higher self also remains in the astral world.
Makes sense. Yeah. Thank you, Ruchi. Thank you. So, yeah, I think that's it. If anybody has anything to share, I think we already overrun by 10 minutes, but yeah, we can still take the questions. I think it's 11:10 in Germany. Ruchiji, is that okay for you?
Yes, I'm okay, Raviji, no
Okay.
problem.
Yeah. So yeah, I think everybody is thanking you, Ruchiji. So it's an amazing session again, and with your soothing voice, and it was like, very nice. Thank you. And there is one other question: how to understand our soul lessons from ourself? How to understand our soul lessons from ourself? Yeah.
Okay. So, I would say is that when we meditate, when we come to know, we start listening, we start attuning to our own selves. And in meditation, when the conscious mind, it comes to rest, then everything in our subconscious mind, it starts coming to a surface. And that's how we come to become aware of all the blockages that we may be having, which tells us that these are the areas where we need to work upon. For example, if a person is angry, he always remains angry. But that person, in his conscious awareness, he doesn't accept that he is an angry person. He says that this is very normal to me and I'm not depicting any emotion of anger. But when we meditate, when we ourselves realize that yes, these are the things which are blocking us to live our life effortlessly. So whatever we may be suffering from, whether it is the lesson of self-love that we have to do, any situation that you might be having in your life, in your meditation, when you become more conscious, when you become more aware of yourself, they will surface and you will know. So the answer to this is that do more meditation, and definitely you will come to know. Even I have seen in my life that the things which I negated at the first hand, and I used to say that no, I don't have these, these tendencies. But with meditation, I realized that yes, I need to work upon, because we try to evade, because the inner self knows that this requires a lot of effort from us. And whenever the question comes of changing ourselves, which is difficult, and we don't want to change ourselves. We want the whole world to change for us, but we don't want to bring a change within ourselves. And when we meditate, we get that energy, we get that willpower, and then this all becomes easy. So, yes, that was my answer.
Thank you. Beautifully explained. Thank you. So, thank you, friends. Again, so I say, yeah, you can see everybody is so grateful to you, Ruchi, for this wonderful session. Anything else, Sharadaji, if you want to say something, or anybody else?
Thank you.
Good.
Thank you.
Yeah, we
Thank
can
you once
conclude the
again,
session. But
Ruchi.
yeah.
So, thank you so much, Masters. And thank you, Raviji. Thank you, Shardaji. Thank you, Monica ji, Daksha ji, Reena ji, Dr. GK ji. Thank you so much. It was an honor for me to have you in the session that I had today, and I loved being here. And yes, all the questions were so beautiful. They also gave me an opportunity to introspect myself, to think about it. And that is how we learn from each other. That is how we grow, holding each other's hand. So thank you so much, Masters. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. We had a wonderful session today. We had an amazing session yesterday, and let us have another session tomorrow with another wonderful master. Thank you for utilizing these sessions, and your presence here. It definitely adds up to the whole energy. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. We'll conclude the session for now, and we'll